All right, so we will call this meeting of the Personnel Subcommittee to order. If the clerk could please call the roll.
Chairperson Martin?
Here.
Mr. Rossi?
Here.
Mr. Lay?
Here.
3 present.
Excellent. So we can jump into the meeting materials on the agenda. The first thing we do have is discussing the process and procedures for conducting a superintendent search. I know we have some materials to review. First up was the org chart. I don't know if it was you who had asked for that. I don't know if you had specific questions around it at this point or just as a point of information.
Yes, I had asked for it specifically just to kind of know what department was under what chief.
Mm-hmm.
So that we could kind of have our own visual, because I know a lot was separated out. No, I thank you for this. This is helpful.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yep, go right ahead.
Thank you. So is this something that we have currently, right? This is the chart that we have. And maybe it's nothing that I asked this, and maybe I should have asked this a couple of years ago, a few years ago. I'm just have more detail, looking at it more detailed today. And I saw that technology was under curriculum, and I feel like, well, that makes sense. I'm just looking at that, and I thought that looks a little odd that technology is under curriculum, and somehow I felt that maybe that should be more aligned with operation. I felt, but that's my opinion.
Well, I do think that, and I think it's on the agenda for tomorrow night, that they're talking about a review of central office to determine where things should go. So that may be something that comes up during that review. Because it's been in a lot of different places. It's been in operations, it's been in finance.
Okay.
Now it's in curriculum. I think it kind of, my sense is it bounces around a little bit.
Yeah.
But. All right, so if there aren't any other questions on the org chart, or next we have the materials from the Mass Association of School Committees. Jim, I'm guessing you spoke with them?
Yes. Clayton said he'd be happy to come speak with you all at a meeting in November, December, or January, and he promptly sent to me the cost proposal and the info paper for you all to review.
Now, I know in the past, I don't know if you remember this, what we had paid the last time we went through this.
I thought it was somewhere between 7,000 to 8,000.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't.
It's 10 to 11 approximately now.
Okay. Given some of our other consulting experiences, that seems fairly reasonable.
Madam Chair, Madam.
Yep, go right ahead, Mr. I'm sorry, I can't see around.
No, I didn't raise my hand. I'm just curious now about this search. I know you wanted to have a search,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt that I felt a little bit different on that issue. I felt that doing a search is not yet necessary. And now I look at all the salary that on the first page for the superintendent. Andover is 228, Boston 300, Brockton interim is 271, Brookline 244, etc. Chelmsford 213. And in Lawrence 248. Now we have this Liam, we only pay him 210, I think.
Is that what we landed yet, 210?
Yeah. So I don't know if we bring a new guy, if we were to bring a new guy in, a new superintendent in, would that creating a new administration and new, a lot of things gonna change, and I felt that I'm not in a favor of doing change yet. I even thought about what if we just do one more year extension on the current superintendent, and then we can do the search. We can do the planning, but I feel like somehow I want to have one more year of the just extend the interim one more year, and then maybe that's give us a little stability. I feel so. I don't know if that's something that I could get your support on.
Well, I will say, I don't know if you want
Well,
to chime in.
my thoughts were just that we had promised an interim superintendent, and then that we promised the community that we would be putting together a blue ribbon committee. So I just feel like whether or not the interim superintendent chooses to apply for the full superintendent position, that we at least owe it to the community, parents, stakeholders, so forth, to be able to go out and for the full-fledged superintendent position, instead of just having it labeled interim superintendent.
Right. So we can do that for me, Madam Chair, if I may.
Yep, go ahead.
So I feel that, yeah, we could probably do that when that time comes, but somehow I feel like maybe I, if you don't mind, I may put that motion next meeting, at the next meeting.
Well, we'll have it at the next meeting. We're not on the agenda for the next
Right.
meeting, right? Okay, so at the next meeting, you could make a motion around that.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
I'll just say to Mr. Ross's point, that's exactly how I feel, having had the conversations about, the interim happened very quickly. And we said, I said at the time that I was comfortable not doing a full, blue ribbon commission and bringing in the community through that process, specifically because it was going to be a 1-year commitment with the anticipation that we would do a full-blown search for the next year. So I am still in favor of moving forward to do that. So what I'd probably recommend, so we'd be reporting out at which meeting? November?
I think it's December 6th.
Okay.
Just let me double check it. I think it is December 6th.
I believe you're right, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, December 6th.
Okay. So what I'd anticipate then is at the December 6th meeting, we'll be able to do this subcommittee report, and at that point, I think the full committee should vote whether to move forward or not, to do the full search, or if there's some other motion to be considered. My sense, and Jim, you can tell me if I'm wrong on this, so that Glenn would be able to begin this process in January?
Yes.
Okay. So at least we know that they'll be available should we decide to move forward at that point.
Can I
Yep,
just ask,
go right ahead.
Are there any dates, I know you said Glenn could meet us in November or December, or January, maybe it would be good if we could maybe decide a time in January after the holidays, I'm thinking. So if you could ask him about
Sure.
that maybe for the next HR or full meeting with everybody, right?
That'd be
It would
great.
Yeah.
Let us know what times he'd have available, and then we can, if that's the way the vote goes, then we can book it that night and save some time. That's great. Okay.
There'll be a meeting, right, days after the inauguration, right?
Yes,
Yeah, because that's the first.
that's January 3rd.
Well, that could probably be good because we'll have
Right.
fresh, fresh faces. All right. So I know that there are a lot of other materials that were included in the packet. It's also obviously available to the public that has materials from our past searches. I don't know if anyone has any questions on any of that. I mean, I've kind of gone through it a couple times, so go right ahead.
We're on page 37, where it talks about a timetable. 5A I'm looking at, and it says schedule for search milestones and hiring date. Is that just like second interviews, final interviews, and
Yeah, it's just a
basically
timeline
set up
of-
a calendar,
Exactly.
right? Okay.
Exactly, of when the deadline is to submit applications, when the Blue Ribbon Committee will meet, all that. We kind of set it all up in one calendar so that everybody knows what to expect. And we've actually stuck to it, which was more shocking than anything.
You're talking about the robust schedule we have?
Yes.
Our aggressive
Rigorous.
schedule in June and July.
Can I just ask who creates it? Like
The
Glenn
subcommittee
or-
did.
or the subcommittee? or-
Glenn was working with us to do that, to kind of, I think, keep us realistic. But, yeah, the subcommittee kind of makes that chart.
Okay, thank you for explaining.
No worries.
So, Madam Chair,
Yep.
so let me try to understand. So we just try to get the process going, but we would give the new school committee the opportunity to work on this.
Yeah, because we'd be able to at our, at the, what was it, November or December 6th meeting, we'll take the vote for the full committee to move forward, but then the meeting with Glenn to kind of set all the parameters and everything would happen in January with the new committee.
New committee. Okay.
Once it's passed in December.
Yeah, if it passes.
Okay. Yeah, I just feel like the new school committee should have the opportunity to
Yeah.
go.
They'll definitely be able to weigh in, and again, we'll have questions around how we make up the Blue Ribbon Committee. We've done it in different ways, so we'll be able to have that discussion in January, and kind of hopefully finalize the calendar at that point too. Okay. Okay, so Noah, I have no other questions around the search materials. You guys all set with that? Okay, we can move on. Next topic is the new job descriptions. You want to walk us through that, Mr. Hall?
Sure, let's see.
Someone's jumping.
Please start on page 86.
That's never a good sign.
36.
86.
Thank you.
So these positions, for the most part, were before this body about 6 weeks ago, and then they went before the school committee. They were tabled. There was some discussion of me asking for the opportunity to refashion the executive secretary for the chief school's office towards a teacher licensure support position, which I did, which is number 3 on the agenda. And then there's one additional item where we have budgeted positions that we haven't been able to fill. Some principals believe they could use retired social workers to fill some gaps with .4 positions. I think the law is allowable to superintendents to utilize part-time positions, but historically we've come before the committee and asked for permission to do that, which is why we're doing that today, to get some feedback or guidance.
Okay, so the ones we need to actually take action on are,
Kenny Vento, liaison for transportation, which is now a full-time position. The assistant FRC coordinator, student assignment specialist, where the committee provided some guidance and Ms. Phillips made changes. The executive secretary for educator support, grade 7, which is going to assist those teachers with transitioning their license from emergency licenses to a license that will qualify them for continued employment next year. And lastly, that permission to use part-time professional employees. So that starts on page 86 and goes to page 90.
we can go in order. So the questions around McKinney-Vento, basically we've gone from a part-time position to now a full-time position.
Correct.
I'd be comfortable entertaining a motion to accept this one full-time position for the McKinney-Vento liaison, if anyone is interested in making that motion.
Yes, I would second it, but I just have one question, point of clarification. Now, this position would go under the Chief Equity Engagement Officer also with everything, okay? Because now that I have a visual. Plug
This is one, transportation.
Very nice.
Yes, I second that, especially.
Okay, so I'd make the motion and seconded by Mr. Rossi. All those in favor say aye. Excellent. So we'll make that recommendation to the full committee. These are all on the regular agenda too, right? I'm sorry, what was the next one after McKee?
Next one
Dento?
was Assistant FRC Coordinator / Student Assignment Specialist. That starts on page
88.
88.
Can I ask, is this person going to be supervising people?
Yes.
Could you tell me where in the job description it says that? I'm just looking quickly, so if I'm missing it, I'll apologize.
It might not be in there. I just assumed from your comments, Ms. Martin, at the last.
No, what were my
meeting,
comments the last time?
That you wanted this person to do the daily supervision, so it'd free up the.
Well, I didn't want them to. You guys were recommending that they do it. I wanted it to be reflected in the
Yes,
job
but you-
description.
I understood what you were saying, that you wanted the head to be free to do more strategic thinking.
Right.
which seemed to be a good aim.
So am I correct in that this is not reflected in the job
I'll have to
description?
look at it
Okay.
closer if that was put in.
So I'm gonna put that to the side. Because I mean, that was the one thing that came out of that meeting, around that position.
I don't see that in there, but I don't have an explanation as to why it
Okay.
wouldn't be, and it doesn't seem objectionable to me.
Okay, then the other one was the executive secretary.
Yes.
So now this is now this is moved now from,
Maybe in HR to support, track and assist teachers that have emergency licenses that'll need to advance to a more permanent license, would be stationed in HR and supervised by me, and would float to other departments during seasonal needs.
are there any questions? Go ahead.
So we'll go under you as the Chief Operating Officer,
Yes,
and then would work basically HR stuff, getting the DESE licensures to be able to expedite to go from emergency to initial licensure. And then when it's not busy in that area, would float to the other areas.
correct. It would also track 1,600 or so teachers on their licenses to see if there are any requirements that would cause their licenses to lapse in the next year or so. And put focus on the need to meet requirements to keep their licenses up as well.
And what's the range of salary for grade 7?
I believe it's 55 to 65, but I'd have to pull that. Is she and I off greatly on that?
Yeah, I don't think it's 65, I think it might be, well, I don't know, with this new range, yeah. It's probably right, probably about 57 to 66 now. Somewhere around there, maybe.
Thank you.
But she helped out with this packet a lot, so I just wanted to.
Any other questions, Mr. Lane?
Some of the responsibilities, were they part of the responsibility that Ms. Maggio had? Or?
Ms. Maggio runs the Lowell Teacher Academy,
So this
so
is
that
completely different.
it's different. This would focus more on administrative assistance to executives.
Okay, all right.
In this case, they'd be assisting professionals directly, the teachers, but would be under the direction of one of the chiefs or more than one chief.
So before that, currently, who is doing all of these responsibilities?
So this licensure would be part of HR, would typically hunt down licensure problems and attempt to, I guess, find people in positions that aren't appropriately licensed and send them notices. This person would bridge that gap this year because we have a heightened workload this year because of the emergency licenses going away and their use over the last few years.
November 18th is the cutoff?
I believe the 7th.
Was
the
it the
deadline.
7th? Right, so that's gonna be a very important.
And we have how many that we know of? 100?
We had about 100. It's down to like 80 something now. A lot have got licensed. The recent reports from the principals.
And what was the 1,600 number?
teachers, total
That's the
teachers,
total number of teachers?
approximately. But some people may have licenses that they had to keep up with and missed something or switched into another grade level. This person would assist in that auditing.
Any other questions?
To approve or?
Could entertain that motion. I would just say, I mean, I appreciate the challenge of this licensing situation. I do think bringing on a level 7 clerk to deal with it is a bit of a luxury. So I'll entertain the vote tonight. I don't know, when we get to Wednesday night, perhaps you can bring some compelling arguments that will convince me. But a motion by Mr. Lay, seconded by Ms. Del Rossi. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
You're in favor.
I'm voting no, yeah, so.
Oh, you're voting no?
Yeah.
Okay.
You made it sound so nice, though.
I know you did. You fooled me.
What is it, the ability to tell someone to go to? Okay, so I believe that is our agenda. Is that correct? Is there anything else I'm missing?
That's it, Ms. Mallory.
Motion to adjourn?
God, these are the best meetings. Motion by Mr. Rossi to adjourn, seconded by Mr. Lay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye.
Hasta la paz.